I'm busy. I've got a lot of going on back here. So go out there and say, this is the way it's gonna be done. Make it happen.
Seth Gold, the star of the popular show Hardcore Pawn, has been through a devastating tragedy that has shaken him to the core. This beloved pawnbroker has faced a personal struggle that has deeply impacted both his career and personal life. But what exactly is the tragic event Seth Gold has endured, and how has it changed everything for him? Join us as we dive into this heartbreaking story and uncover the truth. The wild world of hardcore pawn.
I saved the day. I didn't charge her the $10.
Being smart, come put him in the car.
Les Gold was never an ordinary businessman. Born into a family of pawnbrokers, he followed in the footsteps of his grandfather, who owned a small pawn shop called Sam's Loans on Michigan Avenue in Detroit. It was here that Les made his first sale at just 7 years old. Even at that young age, it was clear that Les had a natural knack for business. Smart, quick, and full of heart. By the age of 12, Les had already started his first business. While attending Hebrew school, he bought pizzas and sold them by the slice to his classmates. What might have seemed like a simple idea was actually a glimpse into his business savvy, a knack for turning a small concept into a profitable venture. This was just the beginning of what would become a long and successful career. In 1978, Les opened his own pawn shop, American Jewelry and Loan, located at the Green 8 Shopping Center on 8 Mile Road in Oak Park. While the business was steady, Les always had bigger dreams. In 1993, he made a bold decision to move the shop to a larger 50,000 square foot building on Greenfield Road in Detroit, not far from the famous 8 Mile. The new location, a former bowling alley, soon became one of the most famous pawn shops in America. What set American Jewelry and Loan apart wasn't just its size, it was the family dynamic. Les's son, Seth, joined the business after graduating from the University of Michigan. Seth brought fresh energy to the marketing side of things, making significant changes. He believed that without his input, the business would still be stuck with outdated ads in the phone book. Seth had big ideas and was determined to bring in new customers. Les's daughter, Ashley, also played a vital role in the family business. She earned a business degree from Michigan State University and later received a diamond certification from the Gemological Institute of America. Ashley worked at the shop for over 15 years, taking some time off to raise her children. When she returned, the sibling rivalry between her and Seth added a layer of drama to the already hectic environment. Their playful bickering and disagreements brought a touch of reality TV gold, captivating viewers and adding intrigue to the business. In 2011, Les expanded further by acquiring Premier Jewelry and Loan in Pontiac, another pawn shop that would later appear on Hardcore Pawn. This new location made its debut on the show's 5th season, and drama quickly followed. Tensions between the family and the added pressure of managing multiple shops gave viewers even more to watch and kept the audience hooked. The show's popularity skyrocketed, with Hardcore Pawn reaching over 2 million viewers per episode by season 6, and sometimes even surpassing 3 million in 2013. But the show wasn't just about pawning jewelry or electronics. It featured wild deals, unforgettable personalities, and unexpected celebrity appearances, including Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. These moments made the show an exciting mix of entertainment and real-life drama. One of the most memorable moments on the show was when Les purchased a van that once belonged to Dr. Jack Kevorkian, the notorious Dr. Death. The van was linked to over 100 assisted deaths, and Les bought it for $20,000, hoping it would be a great investment. However, the van ended up being more trouble than it was worth, yielding only a small profit of $5,000. Despite the outcome, this purchase was just one example of the strange and fascinating deals that kept viewers intrigued. As with all good things, Hardcore Pawn eventually came to an end. In 2014, True TV decided to shift its focus to comedy shows, and the pawn shop drama no longer fit with their new direction. The show ended after its 9th season, leaving fans to say goodbye to the chaotic world of American Jewelry and Loan on their screens. Despite the show's end, Les Gold and his family proved that even a traditional pawn shop could become something extraordinary. They transformed a typical business into a place where anything could happen, often with wild and unpredictable results. The shops expanded, but so did the challenges. Let's explore the struggles the shop faced over time. Seth Gold's journey.
$20,000?
20,000. You kidding?
At first glance, Hardcore Pawn seemed like a show full of wild customers, crazy deals, and non-stop drama inside a busy Detroit pawn shop. Every week, viewers tuned in to watch the Gold family handle chaos, loud arguments, and bizarre items brought in by desperate sellers. But beneath all the shouting and excitement, there was a much deeper story. A story of pressure, struggle, and a family slowly falling apart. At the heart of this story was Seth Gold, Les Gold's only son. To many viewers, Seth was the smart businessman, the one with big ideas who kept the shop's marketing fresh and modern. With a degree from the University of Michigan and a sharp business mind, Seth didn't want to run American Jewelry and Loan the traditional way. He dreamed of transforming the shop's image, focusing on customer care, and turning it into a respected, successful business, free from all the drama. But things didn't go according to plan. Les, the head of the family and the shop's founder, thrived on chaos. He loved the noise, the wild customers, and the constant action. For Les, the bigger the scene, the better the story, and the better it looked on TV. He believed that this kind of chaos was a vital part of the pawn business. But this is where the problems began. Seth's vision for the shop didn't align with what the reality show demanded. While Seth wanted to focus on solid deals, good customer service, and steady business, the producers wanted loud fights, shocking moments, and outrageous guests. At first, Seth tried to play along. He argued when necessary, smiled for the cameras, and did his job. But deep inside, he wasn't happy. This wasn't the life he had envisioned. As the seasons went on, the cracks in the family's once perfect image began to show. Fans noticed the real tension between Seth and Les. There were heated arguments, uncomfortable silences, and visible frustration. While the show thrived on this drama, no one knew how difficult it was for the family behind the scenes when the cameras weren't rolling. The fame that came with the show only made matters worse. Seth had worked for years to build a serious, trustworthy business. But after the show became popular, many people no longer saw American Jewelry and Loan as a legitimate business. Instead, it was seen as just another reality TV set. Customers came not to buy or sell items, but to pick fights, stir trouble, or get their moment on TV. Les didn't mind. To him, it was all part of the fun. But for Seth, it became a nightmare. Every day, Seth felt the pressure building. He didn't want to be the TV villain. He didn't want to fake arguments or pretend to be someone he wasn't. Seth wanted to be a real businessman. He wanted to build something honest and lasting. But as the show leaned more into staged drama, Seth grew more distant. He saw how it was hurting the shop, his family, and his own reputation. While Hardcore Pawn pulled in millions of viewers, it also caused problems no one had anticipated. Fame brought attention, but with attention came judgment. Many no longer saw the shop as a professional business. To them, it was just another reality show's sideshow. When True TV decided to cancel the show in 2014, the damage had already been done. The pawn business had changed forever. Although the shop stayed open, it was never the same. The customers were different, and so was the family dynamic. Seth, once seen as the future of the family business, quietly stepped away from the spotlight. He no longer wanted to chase fame or pretend for the cameras. He saw what the show had done to his family and the pawn shop they had built together. Seth realized that if he wanted something real and honest, he would have to leave it all behind. Leaving wasn't easy. The Gold family had built their entire lives around the pawn shop. It wasn't just a business. It was their history, their memories, and their bond. Stepping away meant leaving behind years of hard work, family moments, and a name that had once meant something in Detroit. To understand why Seth made this decision And what led him to expose the business? Let's take a closer look at his life. What were his initial plans? Why did he change? And how did he reveal the truth about the business? Stick with us as we dive deeper into Seth's stories. From Dr. Dreams to pawn shop legacy.
Hopefully we'll be a profit when he comes back and starts spending more money.
2 years.
Seth Gold never imagined his life would revolve around a pawn shop or television fame. Growing up in a family that owned a busy pawn shop in Detroit, Seth always pictured a different future for himself. While his father, Les Gold, was immersed in the day-to-day operations of American Jewelry and Loan, Seth dreamed of wearing a white coat and helping people as a doctor. He dedicated himself to his studies, tackling challenging subjects like chemistry, biology, and organic chemistry. His goal was clear. He wanted to get into medical school and make a difference in people's lives. But as Seth reached his final year of college, something started to shift. After long nights of studying and barely sleeping before exams, Seth began to feel uncertain. The stress was overwhelming, and the path he thought he wanted no longer seemed fulfilling. One night, while staring at his textbooks, Seth asked himself an important question. If I feel this unhappy now, how much worse will it be years from now? That moment of honesty changed everything. Seth decided not to apply to medical school. Instead, he returned home to Detroit and stepped into the family business. Initially, Seth stayed behind the scenes, quietly learning the ropes. He wasn't looking to take charge right away. He simply wanted to understand the ins and outs of the pawn shop. For 2 years, Seth worked diligently without seeking attention, observing everything, from pricing jewelry to interacting with customers. As time went on, Seth felt ready to bring something new to the table. He didn't want to run the shop the way his father had. Seth believed the business could attract a wider audience by embracing fresh, modern ideas. He focused on marketing and finding innovative ways to connect with customers. Then, an unexpected opportunity came along that would change the Gold family's life forever. A TV producer named Richard Dominic pitched the idea of filming the daily drama inside the pawn shop. After some consideration, the Gold family agreed. And in August 2010, Hardcore Pawn debuted on True TV. The show became an immediate hit. Viewers were captivated by the strange items, wild customers, and sometimes fiery family arguments. Seth, Les, and the rest of the family became household names. Soon, both Seth and Les were named executive producers, giving them more control over the show's direction. While the fame was exciting, it also revealed the challenges of running a business under the intense scrutiny of television cameras. But through it all, Seth remained focused on improving the shop. One of Seth's proudest achievements was launching the shop's online store. While many pawn shops stayed strictly in person, Seth saw the potential in online sales. His idea paid off, and soon online sales accounted for 30% of the business. What made it even more rewarding was the way Seth employed people through a program called Power to the Grid. This initiative offered jobs to individuals with autism spectrum disorders, whose sharp attention to detail made them ideal for online work. The workers were loyal, hardworking, and eager to succeed. Under Seth's leadership, American Jewelry and Loan continued to grow. New locations opened in Hazel Park and Pontiac, with plans for even more. The shop's annual profits reached between $5 million and $10 million. Seth's innovative thinking and dedication didn't go unnoticed. He was named National Pawnbroker of the Year in 2013, a proud moment for him and his family. Even with all his success, Seth stayed true to his roots. He was invited to speak at industry events, including the Midwest Pawnbrokers Convention, and hosted roundtables for pawnbrokers across the country to discuss new laws and business challenges. Whenever friends visited Detroit, Seth made sure to show them the neighborhood of Corktown, where his great-grandfather's original pawn shop had once stood. That spot later became the restaurant Gold Cash Gold, a reminder of how far the family had come. Seth Gold's journey proves that no matter how far you stray from the path you first envisioned, success can still come from hard work, innovation, and staying true to your values. His transition from aspiring doctor to pawnbroker is just one part of his remarkable legacy. The struggle between Les and Seth Gold.
No, yeah, well, of course that's what he said.
Of course he does.
So what people find so interesting when we're not filming, we're still at the store.
Even after the cameras stopped rolling, the tension between Les and Seth Gold didn't just fade away. For years, Les had built American jewelry and loaned his way. He thrived in the chaos, the fast deals, the wild customers, and the rush of non-stop action. That chaos was his world, and he was good at it. But when Seth stepped in, things started to change. Seth was different. Calm, careful, and thoughtful, Seth preferred to plan ahead and make strategic, smart moves. He believed in running the business with steady hands, not loud voices and dramatic scenes. Then there was Rich, a longtime face at the pawn shop. He wasn't just an employee. He was like family. For over 25 years, Rich stood by the Gold family through thick and thin. Fans loved him, but loyalty in the pawn world didn't always guarantee a happy ending. A disagreement caught on camera marked the beginning of Rich's quiet exit. Even though he apologized, something had shifted. Slowly, Rich appeared less and less on the show, and fans took notice. Rumors started circulating that Rich was becoming too popular, and maybe the Golds wanted the spotlight back for themselves. Things escalated when drama followed Rich outside of work. His wife began posting angry messages online, attacking Bobby, another worker at the shop. The tension mounted, and soon the situation became too toxic to ignore. Rich quietly left for good. The show didn't make a big announcement, but viewers could sense something wasn't right. Bobby, too, later admitted that life at the pawn shop wasn't as simple as it appeared. He shared how emotions ran high, not just between customers and staff, but within the family as well. The cameras only captured a small part of the story, but behind the scenes, these were real people dealing with real problems and family struggles. As time passed, the cracks in the family and the business deepened. While the show came to an end, the issues it brought to the surface didn't just disappear. Les, Seth, and Ashley each went their separate ways. The pawn shop still stands today, but it's not the giant it once was, when millions tuned in to witness the next big, wild moment. The truth behind Hardcore Pawn's wild ride.
There you go. I
got the shirt.
Welcome here, buddy. Appreciate it.
Are you kidding? A Detroit?
When Hardcore Pawn first hit the TV screen, many compared it to Pawn Stars, the hit show on the History Channel. At first glance, the two shows seemed similar, both centered around pawn shops, filled with strange treasures and run by families. But if you looked a little deeper, you'd see that Hardcore Pawn was something different. It wasn't just about gold chains and collectibles. What made this show stand out were the people, their emotions, their fights, and the wild drama that came with it. The show followed the Gold family, Les, the tough and experienced boss of American Jewelry and Loan, and his two children, Seth and Ashley. They weren't just business partners, they were family, and that made every disagreement a little more intense. At first, Seth kept quiet, working behind the scenes and learning the ropes. But deep down, he knew he didn't want to continue running the pawn shop the way his father had. Seth dreamed of modernizing the business, bringing in fresh ideas, and creating a peaceful, successful environment for the future. The problem was, Les wasn't ready for change. He'd spent his entire life building the shop in his image, and he didn't want to relinquish control. To him, the business was more than just a shop. It was part of who he was. Letting someone else, even his son, steer the ship was not an easy decision. As Hardcore Pawn grew in popularity, the pressure inside the shop only intensified. Viewers saw the arguments and family fights on screen, but behind the scenes, there was deeper pain, real disagreements, moments of hurt and broken trust. Mixing family, fame, and money slowly pulled them apart. In the end, something had to give. Les faced a difficult choice: hold on to a business that no longer felt the same, or start letting go. Seth, on the other hand, had to decide whether to stay in a world filled with old memories and constant stress, or walk away to find his peace. The stakes were high, and the tension was thick. The real drama of hardcore pawn.
What's the gas mileage?
On a good day, 5.
5.
How about on a bad day?
When people think of hardcore pawn, they remember the loud customers, the heated arguments, and the outrageous deals at the front counter. It all seemed like the big drama happened right there, with angry people and over-the-top scenes. But the truth is, the real struggles didn't take place in front of the cameras. The hardest moments happened behind the scenes, where no one could see. At its core, American Jewelry and Loan wasn't just a pawn shop. It was a family's pride, built over decades of hard work. Les Gold, the head of the family, ran the shop his way for years. He was tough, bold, and traditional. But his son, Seth, was different. Seth was quiet, smart, and eager to bring fresh ideas to the business. And then there was Ashley, Seth's sister, who worked alongside them. Like many families, working together wasn't always easy. One of the biggest behind-the-scenes conflicts happened when Seth made a shocking move. Without telling his father, he tried to sell one of their other shop locations in Pontiac. It was a risky decision, and when Les found out, he was furious. The fight that followed was one of the worst they ever had. On TV, they smiled through it, but behind closed doors, the trust was broken. It marked a turning point for the family, and things were never quite the same after that. Ashley had her own challenges. After years of tension, disagreements, and fights with her brother, she eventually left the business. Fans hoped the family would find a way to mend things, but it wasn't so simple. These days, Ashley and Seth still joke with each other on social media, but the closeness they once had inside the shop was gone. Imagine working every day with your dad and sibling, arguing over prices, handling irate customers, and having cameras filming your every move. It wasn't easy, and that tension made for unforgettable TV. But behind the scenes, not everything was as it seemed. Some fans started to notice that certain moments felt too perfect, almost like they were planned. Rumors started circulating that producers sometimes encouraged customers to act out and create scenes. Even Bobby, a longtime employee at the shop, hinted that the crew sometimes stirred things up. The shop was real, the people were real, but occasionally, the drama felt just a little too made for TV. Still, what made Hardcore Pawn stand out wasn't just the fights or the funny moments. It was the heart of the show, the human side. Many of the people coming through the pawn shop doors weren't just selling items for fun. They were trying to make ends meet, paying bills, buying groceries, or making rent. Les Gold often said his shop was about helping people in tough times. That deeper meaning gave the show its heart, even amid all the yelling and chaos. As the show gained popularity, it also attracted its fair share of wild rumors. One of the biggest came in 2023. Years after the show ended, a viral TikTok claimed Les Gold had passed away, sending fans into a frenzy, sharing memories and messages of shock. But it turned out to be a false rumor. Seth quickly posted a video confirming that his father was alive and well. Rather than being upset, Les took the opportunity to connect with his fans, showing once again that he knew how to handle fame with grace. Even after Hardcore Pawn stopped filming, the Gold family continued running their business. At its peak, American Jewelry and Loan was worth over $5 million. Seth handled the marketing, finding innovative ways to attract customers, while Ashley managed the day-to-day operations with her sharp business sense. Together, they made a great team, though, like any family, they had their fair share of disagreements. The fights didn't end when the cameras stopped rolling. In fact, some of the biggest arguments happened behind the scenes. Rumors spread about family members not speaking to each other, and eventually, Ashley left the business. Fans saw them joking on social media, but the closeness they once shared in the shop was no longer there. The Gold family couldn't escape the scrutiny of the internet. New rumors seemed to pop up every day. Fake death stories, secret fights, and hidden scandals. Some said that employees were fired because they became too popular, while others whispered that producers encouraged customers to act louder and more dramatic for the cameras. The truth is, reality TV is always a mix of real moments and guided entertainment. Hardcore Pawn was no different. The shop was real, the customers were real, and the fights were real too. But to keep viewers hooked, the show sometimes added extra drama. When the show first began, it focused on the serious, emotional stories of people struggling to get by and the Gold family trying to hold everything together. But as time went on, producers leaned more toward funny moments and outrageous customer outbursts. Les always maintained that the show wasn't scripted, but even behind the scenes, some writers admitted that certain scenes felt a little too perfect. The show ran for 9 seasons before quietly ending in 2014. There was no big farewell, no final episode, just a sudden end. Fans were left wondering why. Was it declining ratings, too much family drama, or something bigger that no one wanted to acknowledge? The mystery behind its abrupt conclusion only fueled the rumors. What made Hardcore Pawn unforgettable was that it was a little bit of everything. A business show, a family drama, and pure, unpredictable chaos. One minute, someone would try to pawn a golden tooth, and the next, there'd be a shouting match over a small price difference. Today, American Jewelry and Loan is still open, and Les and Seth continue to run the shop. The show may be over, but its legacy lives on through reruns, online clips, and endless rumors. Regardless of what's true or exaggerated, one thing is clear. Hardcore Pawn gave viewers an unforgettable look at a pawn shop where anything could happen, and often did.
Nice to meet you.
Rodney trained me, Rodney trained Ashley. It's only a natural fit to bring Darren under his wing.
What do you think about Seth Gold and his journey? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more celebrity updates. And before you go, be sure to check out our other videos on your screen.